Okay, 1 second, people. Uh, okay. Hey, cynical one. Okay, I'm waiting for Diana to come through. Okay, here she is. So let me drop the link in the chat real quick. Okay. Okay, it's there. I hope you can click it. Oh, wait. I appreciate you willing to do this. Um, like I said, it's not to like ignite any beef or whatever. I just really want to get people's different perspectives. Because I'm not against spaces like that existing or anything. Well, obviously if it's negative or whatever, but I'm not against light skins, biracials, or whoever having their own. Hey, Warren, what's good? Since you in here, Warren, have you ever heard of the Golden Sphere or any particular spaces where I guess where light skinned blacks talk about their experiences with colorism and discrimination because of their skin tone or phenotypes? Because I believe, yes, you are a light skinned black person. And it's just interesting to hear other people's opinions about it. That's it, and that's all. I used to be very, like I said before, I used to be very closed minded. I never thought they went through colorism or experienced colorism, but not in a negative, malicious way. Like, oh, you're light skinned, so you're not black. You're not. You don't face no discrimination or being bullied of any kind. It's just I never heard light skins or biracials in my personal life or whatever complain about colorism. Well, not complain. I don't want to say complain, but talk about colorism. So that's interesting. It just was interesting to me. Is all. Is that a text? Hold on 1 second. Okay, here she is.
Hey, Dickness.
Good to have you here.
Good. Thank you for having me.
Um, I just wanted to ask, some questions. Well, firstly, did you ever like consider yourself a part of the Golden Sphere, or you were just there to, observe and get the feel of like the sector? So I know Atlanta Creole said that he was attracted to it, but he wasn't a part of it. So I'm wondering if that was the same situation for you.
At first, I was just attracted to it, and then cause When I came to the Golden Spirit back in November 2021, it was mostly positive, and then they was actually staying on assignment of talking about light skin and mixed race issues before it got derailed and made it all about beefing. And then I decided to join it because I was interested, perspectives from MGMs, light skinned blacks and biracials, like angry biracial said that he was hoodwinked to the space. And I felt like I was hoodwinked to the space
Uh,
because it ended up being something that, down the line, it ended up being something that it wasn't.
hmm. Okay. So you are you consider yourself mixed or MGM?
To me, MGM is basically mixed, mixed, but some people, it's subjective to some people. Some people see us as blacks, or some people see us as mixed. That's why I just say I'm both. You know, I do refer myself as black at times because that's what I was raised as. And I did not know I was technically mixed until my 20s, until I done investigation and took my DNA test and stuff. But I refer myself as both personally, but I identify with my blackness first because that's how I was culturally raised and you know.
Well, I shouldn't say mixed. I should say biracial,
Oh no
right?
no 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 no! I don't like people calling me biracial. I'm not
Mm.
biracial. I'm a mixed woman, but I'm not definitely not biracial. So that's why I say
Oh, okay. Okay.
cause it's like my mixed bloodline was maintained for generations genetically. Not like I'm indirectly mixed, but not directly mixed like a
Okay.
biracial.
Understood.
So that's
Oh,
why we use the term MGM because it's indirectly mixed, but sometimes the admixture could come from my parents that could be biracial, or it could come generational from maintaining a mixed bloodline for generations.
right. So you don't mind being called light skin or just black?
I don't mind that at all, but I don't like people like somebody who white like smells trying to gaslight me about my ancestry, and I know more
Right.
about my ancestry than she do, or a light skinned black woman like LSP trying to gaslight me about my ancestry, and I'm way more biracial passing than them. And to me, why should I be debating or arguing over my non-black mixed admixture? And the shit is not even an honor to have in me. Not racist against white people or anybody, but this I'm from the
Right.
South, you know. Um, people from the South, especially if you're a millennial or a baby bloomer, most of our non-black admixture might came for something out of place of hate, not out of love, right? So
Mm,
it's like it's not uh, something to be proud of. Like some like I'm not proud that I got white folks in me. Like that's not an honor or badge. Like it's
right.
it
I
was
understand.
it's like people in the South don't like to talk about it, but and then you try to gaslight me. I'm talking about them. I'm trying to say something that it's just heavily insulting.
Okay. All right. When did you, like, whether it was online or in your personal life, when did you first experience colorism?
At the time, I did not notice it and know it, but I say probably yeah, like you talk about from black people or people of other races in general. I
In general, black, anybody, it doesn't matter.
Since a kid, because I first went to a Mexican predominantly school, and I was lighter than most of these Mexican kids, but they want to call me chocolate or want to say I'm ugly because I have black features, and I'm obviously not Mexican, but this the same Mexicans end up jocking me when I got in my teens, like I was pretty and stuff. I was like, but did you say I was? Okay, never mind.
Oh damn. Oh shit. So let me see. Oh yeah, the other question. Do you think there needs to be spaces for those who consider themselves MGN or light skinned blacks due to their own experiences with colorism?
I say yes, but I don't think, based on my experience with the Golden Spur, I don't think we should share a space with biracials because when I came to that space, You know how like the media always portray light skinned people or MGMs like or biracial, like we think we better than full black people, and we put our
Mm,
non-black admixture in the pedestal and we just walk around like our shit don't stink. When I came that space, I was trying to dispute that stereotype, but to come in that space to see like people like LSP and and some the white identified, some of the not everybody, but some of the white identified biracials to put they non-black admixture on pedestal conform to the stereotype. I'm like, oh hell no. This the bullshit this the bullshit and the stereotype I'm trying to fight against, and I don't want to be associated with that. So personally, I think MGMs and light skinned blacks need their own space separate from the biracials because MGMs, the one who's more black blood, we mostly more black identified and more connected to our blackness than I see than the biracials in that space. Cause we ain't gonna tolerate people saying anti-black shit or anti-black racism and but only quiet if I done black parent get insulted. No, 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 no. Because typically we culturally identify with our blackness first before anything else. So, of course, I think we should have our own space separate from the triracial and biracials because a lot of them, because I share a space with biracial, that don't mean I need to be anti-black people or anti-black culture because at the end
right.
of the day, I am GM, but black people is still my people and black culture is still my culture because that's the culture I was raised in.
Mm, okay. No, I totally understand and would agree to that. I don't think light skinned or MGM should have to basically coon and shuck and jive to share a space with biracials. But that's kind of what it feels like looking at the golden sphere.
And
Um,
I
oh,
want
no,
to say this.
mhm.
You biracials who worship your whiteness, especially, y'all need to bow down to us light skinned black people, MGMs, because it was the MGMs and light skinned blacks created for a space for y'all asses to talk about y'all experience, for y'all to turn around and make the shit about y'all selves. So y'all better, so people like LSP and Smiles, y'all better put respect on light skinned blacks and MGMs, respect on their name, because they the one who created a space that y'all voice can be heard of what y'all go through with be quote unquote light skin or mixed. We know Smiles ain't mixed, so LSP is not really all that mixed that she thinks she is. But they the one who created a space for you, and y'all turn around and shit on them for their more black ancestry. That's not right. Y'all need to put some respect on our names.
Yeah, I found that weird. Like it was created by MGMs and light skinned blacks, and then it just got all racist and shit. That was weird to me. But the next question is: do you think the topic of colorism itself divides those who are black and light skin and MGM more so than unites us?
Well, I kind of think it depends on the content creator. Like I think Christy is promote division with her between light skinned blacks and colorism or people that are light skinned with mixed ancestry, right? And people like Snoop Dogg's daughter who talk about her experience with colorism, she's not coming from a divisive place. She just talk about her individual experience and how it hurt her. But so far, I think the toxic spectrum of the colorism sector is driving more division than unity. And now I think the Golden Spur personally is driving more division than unity amongst blacks and people who are mixed with black ancestry or just happen to be a light skinned black.
Oh, okay. Were you in spaces similar to the Golden Sphere, but similar to? Were you in spaces similar to the Golden Sphere, and was there any differences?
Well, before Light Skin Motivation and Anon deleted their channel, I did follow them and I follow Light Skin Tears on here, but she didn't make a lot of videos, but she mostly was on IG. Yeah, I was part of that space, but and I love Ellen Jones content, even though she don't make videos no more. But I can see their vibe is way different from the biracial, and personally, I prefer their content better than the biracials because they speaking about their experience in the black community and they experience of being light skinned or mixed, but they not speaking from anti-black they not saying anti-black stuff. They just speaking on their issues and experience without degrading black people as a whole or black admixture as a whole.
Okay, gotcha. What or who made the Golden Sphere toxic in your opinion?
The spokespeople,
Mm,
the people who they select to be a spokespeople, and they ass kiss again in their spokespeople business without even knowing the true story or what they only hear from one side, so they like the person because they got a platform. They just want to kiss their ass and ride away without doing their research on what transpired between the spokesperson and the other people they are beefing with. They
mm,
think they start treating their people like they God or something. They don't make no wrong or they don't make no mistakes, but they human like everybody else, and they make mistakes like And and cynical one, thank you for the comment. And yeah, I wonder who introduced Smiles to this space, but I know I used to see her and like I was introduced to her due to light skin motivation or none. When I thought she was biracial based on her first video she uploaded. I did like that video and that would draw me to Smiles, but I didn't know she was a mixed fisher at that time.
mm.
I
Okay,
responded to the live chat.
that's fine. Do you feel like light skinned blacks and oh wait a minute, wait no, you already answered that question like about the ass kissers and and stuff. Do you feel like do you feel it was focused more on negativity and not the progression of bringing awareness to colorism in regards to light skinned blacks, MGMs, and biracials?
Yes, I think it was more focused on the negative and the beef and the YouTubers, black YouTubers they have disagreements with or gruesome with instead about MSL issues. Originally they did start talking about MSL issues, but the shit transferred to self-centered beefs and want people to ass kiss them, and people fall in their trap by being their ass kissers and collar them instead of talking about NSL issues, but talk about the content creator issues with somebody else. That's what it turned to, and I'm
Mm,
not with that ish at all.
yeah, I understand.
Like,
When
what
did
that
you?
have to do with being golden? It has nothing to do with being golden. Like stalking people
Right.
comments. Like, me and Atlantic Creole cool now, but me and Atlantic Creole can barely say a word to each other. Here go certain person want to like the comment or stalk me like comments. If me and him have any kind of exchange or I say something to Lashid and stuff like that, that don't got nothing to do with golden pride. That's stalking pride, and that's almost some bullshit pride. That's what it is.
Mm, right. When did you first feel that way about the
Uh,
golden sphere?
Probably like around February or March, like I start to feel different because at first the spirit was cool. We actually had dialogue, and I thought certain people was like sweet, like sweet, like the sweet type, and don't like drama, don't like beef, and they turned out to be something else that I thought compared to what I thought they were, um but somebody in my family told me to leave the golden sparrow back in December when Smile started attacking me, and I clapped back at her, and they were like, "No, that's not productive for your time. You need to leave that space." But I should have left that space when old girl started attacking me on her community tab right then.
Okay. Do you think
I'm
that all
alert.
blacks, regardless of skin tone or features, need to be open about their experiences and come to solutions without the input of outsiders? Is she going on mute? Oh yeah, she did. But
Oh, my bad. I said, can you repeat the question because the Amber Alert kind of messed up my headset on my phone. I had to plug my headsets in and out.
oh, sure, no problem. Um, Do you think that all blacks, regardless of skin tone or features, need to be open about their experiences um, with colorism and come to solutions without the input of outsiders?
I agree, but it had to be done in a sincere and healing place. You know how like what's that panel, the Grapevine or Juliet? You know how they have people who got different experience or views talk, but they all come to a peace of understanding despite their differences. It should
Right.
we should talk about our experience, but it should have come in a space that is healing and be more educated, understanding of each other, not for the cause division.
Um, Within that conversation of colorism, um, do you feel that I mean not light skin, do you feel that biracials at some point should be included in that conversation? Like maybe not at
Yes,
first, but like somewhere near down the line, maybe.
I think they should be included from the beginning, but they need their own space because Goldensphere say they have space for light skinned blacks, MGMs, and I just but so some reason they think because we join this place we supposed to be anti-black culture. I because I joined the space, I'm not gonna become anti-black people, anti-black culture, and I'm concerned about triracials and biracials. Like my best friend is technically triracial, but she's black culturally raised because she was adopted, and Keisha Coles is technically biracial, right, genetically, but she is obviously black culturally. So I'm concerned for besides MGMs, I'm concerned for the biracial and triracial that are black identified culturally come to their space. They go, if they come to their space, they go extremely deal with some anti-blackness because they mix, but they culturally black. So, so therefore, I think people that's more black triracial and biracials who are more black identified need their own spaces versus to the ones that's more white or other identified because I know that the ones that are more white or other identified, they don't care about black racism and have heavy tolerance towards it. So I think it should be like four separate specters. Like I'm just talking about colorism and gender. In general, it should be a sector for white identified and other identified biracial and triracials. Then the second one should be more black identified, like Keisha Cole and my black best friend. Then MGMs and light skinned blacks should they have their own space because we have very similar experience, but MGMs, the black dominant MGMs is more black culturally identified. Then it should be the monoracial blacks that's none ambiguous, like Christie's yourself should have their own space, talk about colorism. So I think it should be four separate spaces, and I think all of them need mature moderators to have their audience submit their questions and submit their experience because they won't go through cyberbullying, or bullying from people or harassment, stalking by people for sharing their experience and come to a common ground of solution to all of this. And then I think all the moderators for fourth sector should have a dialogue and trying to come to a middle ground of healing, on tackling this issue of colorism.
Okay. Very interesting. You said you people like Chrissy, you think when she speaks on colorism, it's kind of dividing light skin and dark skin blacks. Um, what made you first come to that conclusion about her? I've heard others say that about her before.
I was a Chrissy supporter since 2015, but I know that her direction became more anti light skinned black people and more anti mixed people around 2017. When I watched her video, how she talked bad about Blue Ivy and how she would act like Blue Ivy's an ugly child and Beyonce is not prettier than Kim Kardashian. And she private that video, but when she started going blatant rants against light skin that we think we better than them and this how light skinned women really feel about us and all of that, that's when I start to look at her gender different. and it opened my eyes. And then she say she promote darker skin beauty, but when you go to her page, Divine Light Skin, these women are photoshopped to death. How that is portraying real. I'm against photoshopping in general and
Mhm.
filters in general. Yeah, I played with filters on Snapchat or when I was saying karaoke, but I'm against photoshopping in general. But anyway, how you can say you're promoting a beauty of something and the picture is fake? Like that's not promoting beauty. That's
Right.
promoting illusion. So when her mission started to change to go, because for a while, maybe right now she on a divestment tip, right, or the swelling trip tip, or leveling up thing. But she went through a period of blacks and light skinned and mixed women, and that's when. And I noticed that around 2017, 18, that's when around the time I stopped supporting her content. And I do support darker skinned women having a voice or a platform to themselves. I think y'all have the right to have y'all own platforms that talk about y'all issues, but I just think when you, I think when y'all talk, anybody, whether it's light skinned folks, mixed folks, or black folks, I think once we talked about our issues, we need to talk about a place of different perspective and healing. But we got to be careful not
Right.
to be that. We got to be careful not to be divisive. Because how is go put a wound to the issues that we are facing if we making the wound way more bigger than what it was by causing division, you know?
Agreed. I think, yeah, I agree. I've heard people say she plays she I don't want to say play victim, but she teaches dark skinned women to have like a victim mentality and I guess exploit, the low self esteem of some dark skinned black women. And I could kind of see, certain channels doing that because it's not really coming up with like a solution or healing, like you said. It's just, you know, it's being very divisive. But
And
my
yeah,
next,
and then I'm afraid that instead of bringing healing to the colorism that the darker skinned women in space suffer, you're exploiting my defaming my image as an MSL woman or hurting my image more as an MS woman, which can increase hostility towards people that look like me and cause us more problems and therefore lead to more division. Like, I just think for a person like Christy, they need to be careful with their platform because your platform can actually cause more hurt than actually bring to the solution to the problem that you are focusing on. And that's my concern as a light skinned black woman because I have light skinned nieces and nephews that are black. You know what I mean? And I don't want them to go through the same hate and issues I went through in my own community with colorism or being light skinned or something they didn't ask to be. And it makes me afraid, like, dang, like, if light skinned girls had some problems before, maybe this platform can help increase the animosity towards them for them to get harmed and get away when impurity. I'm trying to say I know I'm saying the word wrong because people been brainwashed that MSL people don't go through anything and we just privileged and we just got this fabulous life. So if a light skinned girl braids get cut off or she get jumped by 10 girls because somebody say, oh, they think she got light skin privilege, somebody can overlook that and assume that, oh, she got a good life because based on what Chrissy said. You know what I mean? So
right,
that 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 type of propaganda is dangerous to us as well. So that's when we stepped in like, hey, 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 hey. You just generalizing us and stereotyping us based on a rap video fantasy. There is nothing it ain't like that for us. This is reality what we go through. So that's
yeah.
what we concerned about.
No, I completely understand. I do think it's propaganda and you know yeah, I do think it's propaganda basically. It was a situation recently with me and a light-skinned friend of mine on here, and she was being, bullied and talked bad about because of her light skin when she has never, said anything anti-dark skin or anti-black period. And I felt it was very wrong for her to be attacked just because she was light skinned. It's very stupid. That I never would allow to go down. I don't believe in attacking anyone because of a skin color. I mean, if you as a dark skinned black woman know what it's like to go through colorism, why would you allow someone else to go through that, regardless of them being light or dark? I think that's very hypocritical to me.
Because I'm not saying some people in that space is not every dark skinned person or anything like
Right,
that or sociopathic. So since they're miserable and they suffered, they would like to see that happen to the person that they think they being put in a pedestal against. It's kind of like, ha, I went through this pain due to colorism, but ha, now you light skinned bitches going through it, and I love it. I enjoying it. Ha. That what you get. You know what I mean? That's
right,
how like a few people in that space look at stuff, and that's the thing that is dangerous. And that's why I think when we talk about controversial issues like colorism, it should be moderators attending to avoid it from getting toxic or divisive.
right.
Stick to the point of just talk about our issues to come to a place of understanding and healing instead of the opposite of that.
Understood. My next question is: do you feel like the topic of colorism and your experience dealing with it makes it less believable because you're MGM or a light skinned black woman?
Yes, I do because it's like the people who don't have light skin or mixed people in their family, some of them can fall more prey against the propaganda and as light skinned people. Like, for example, my job, when I first came there, them, people looked at me weird when I used to say hi, speak to them and stuff. But if another black person say hi to them, they would say what's up or speak back. But when I used to speak to them, because my job is dominantly black people, right? They used to look at me crazy. But over time when I was there, they warmed up to me and spoke back and stuff. But later on, they admit that they wasn't comfortable speaking to me because they thought I was gonna be a quote unquote stuck up light skinned yellow bone.
Hmm.
And I'm
Right.
just, and they're like, it's because you light skinned and you're a pretty woman, and people would not expect you to act like that or be nice or approachable like that. And they thought, they were like, we thought you were gonna be stuck up at first. I'm like, it's because I'm light skinned. They like, yeah, and you're attractive as well. So people was like
Right.
intimidated when you were speaking to them. And I'm just like, wow. They're like, okay, we got some work to do.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's a really ignorant mindset, but it's been programmed into a lot of people. But hopefully one day it'll be gone. Let's see. Oh, if you were ever to be in a space for MGMs, um, what would be the most important aspect for you to stay a part of it?
It had to really stick to the assignment. Really stick to the summary topic at hand of discussing our issues without causing division in the space of healing and space of awareness to the point we are more humanized than dehumanized. Because I do feel like the toxic spectrum of colorism dehumanize light skinned people, dehumanize mixed people with black to a certain extent because it's reinforcing stereotypes about us that's mostly not true. And then to me, to be black raised as a black woman and culturally identify as black, it's hurtful to say that I down look somebody else because I got more non-black admixture in me, or I'm because I'm light skinned. That's really hurtful to even put me in a mindset as a racist white person or a racist white supremacist. Like people don't understand that's not. I don't take that as pride. That's more of an insult than something complimentary. You know what I mean? Like it's very hurtful
Right.
to say that I think I'm better than another a light skinned woman that's fully black, or think I'm better than a fully black woman, and put myself in this hierarchy that I think I'm better. That's very hurtful, especially if I culturally identify as black and I was raised as black.
Right. No, I completely understand. Um, why do you think there is tension between biracials and black people, whether it's the golden sphere or just in general?
I think the tension is due to ignorance of both sides, and and like biracials in that space, a lot of many biracial in that space really expose their ignorance of how they feel about black people by using some white supremacist talking point. Oh, black people got low IQs. Oh, don't chimp out, or comparing us to monkeys and stuff like that. So some
Right.
of the biracial really showed that they, besides, maybe people outside of people, their family, they really wasn't exposed to black people like that. Then the black people that act ignorance against light skinned people or biracials, it shows of their ignorance or stereotype about, I think it's just ignorance on both sides, extreme ignorance on both sides, and that's what causing the tension, and
Mhm.
and then it just need to be more education of get to know each other and our perspectives and what we experience to decrease the ignorance of the extreme ignorance of both sides. That's what that's how I see it.
Right. I agree. I think it also could depend on like how they were raised. Like you said, they may not have been around a lot of black folk. They may not have been educated. Yeah, I could agree to that. I do think that it's ignorance, and vice versa. Um, with some black folks dealing with biracials, but overall I agree with and really much appreciate your answers. But those are all the questions that I have.
Thickness, I like your questions, but I think the goal of these spaces, I personally think they should not be online no more because you see how people like LSP and Smiles take stuff to the extreme and want to make troll accounts and trying to bully up people online and stuff.
Yeah.
I think this should be more of an organization that people, at the four specters, can have like a real leadership of somebody that could take, speaking of other people, speaking for other people and their experience and come to a common ground of, as like moderators and leaders, we could talk about these things and in a healing perspective that we could not, all sides won't hurt each other, with the abuse and the word calling and the discrimination. And we can come
Right.
to a place of healing and we can have more understanding of each other. That I feel like that's the goal should be with the colorism spaces and not the opposite. But however, thank you for having me and thank you for your questions. And I think they was informative and eye opening.
Well, thank you for being here and your answers. I really do appreciate this.
You're welcome.
All right, you have a good evening.
You too, ma'am. Bye,
All right.
y'all.
All right, everybody. I really did like that. That was awesome. I really love her her answers. But I will catch you guys in the next one. Thanks to everyone who came, typed in the chat, who lurked, who will be watching this in the playback. Again, this is not to be malicious. If anyone in the Golden Sphere want to have a dialogue about it, I'm open. But I'm not dealing with any type of drama or any. That's not going to happen. I'm done with drama channels and beef. Like that's I'm not into any of that like that. Um, but if you willing, but any of them are willing to have a conversation, most definitely a constructive, positive conversation. I'm open to it, even if we do it on a like a mutual platform. But anyways, you guys have a lovely evening, night, afternoon. I know people are in different time zones or whatever. But thanks. Thank you, Cynical. Y'all have a good one. Peace.